Welcome everyone, it's Evelyn from Twin Flames 3344. I have a Divine Masculine Twin Flame read here. If you should need anything from me, all my information is below. It's at twinflames3344.com and at gmail.com. A lot of my information is below already. If you have any questions, you certainly can drop me an email. And my CD is Twin Towers to Twin. It's Ashes: Twin Towers to Twin Flames, and it's on iTunes, CD Baby, Amazon, and Google Play. And that's, the songs are only $1 and you actually get a song for it, but that's also a great way to support me if you like the video. And please do like, subscribe, and share. Sharing my video helps me a lot if you do like the content. And thank you all for those of you who have been with me for a while, and for all of your likes and your shares and your comments and your love. I really appreciate it. So getting into this read today, I was just meditating for you guys to see what the messages were today. And the first thing I got was, I was first seeing an owl. That was my first image. And the owl turned into more of a chick, a baby chick. And then it turned into like a baby E.T. with the big eyes. And then into a bigger bird. And then it was showing me a thoth-like bird. And then it was coming in like my father's thoth, to give me a message. And then there was a bird like just standing in front of my eyes, and they weren't like hurting me or anything, but it looked like the position where a bird would be pecking your eyes out. But they weren't trying to do it, they were just trying to show me something. And it had to do with us to, the message of us to stop using your eyes to see, to use your third eye and your heart. Stop using your eyes to see what you already know. Then I was getting, it was very interesting too. The crowns were coming up. I saw a crown, and then the roses and the thorns in the bush, and it was referencing Jesus's crown, right? And that why do you want to, it's about status issues for the masculine were coming up, and don't you see the issues with status and that Jesus had thorns in his crown? It's like relating the status of someone high up there as something that will ultimately be your downfall. Because with great beauty always comes great pain, right? Because we're talking about extremes. So, and I happened to be out cleaning out my garden today and around my bushes, all the dead leaves and stuff. And I actually pricked myself on my rose bush today, which I have never done before. And the rose bush happened to come up in a different way. It didn't even come up as a rose. It came up as the crown first and then the thorns of the rose. So that was important. And I also then saw a pearl being birthed, and it was interesting because it came after the eyeballs being plucked out. And but the pearl was being birthed. And again, to stop using the eyes, but again, the pearl reference of once the bacteria gets into the clam, the pearl is what grows from that, right? The rejection grows this beautiful pearl. So to remember that. And also the last thing I saw was two men hugging and then patting each other's shoulders, like you do like guys would do with each other. And then they walked away from each other. So there's some kind of agreement to walk away or to agree to disagree. But they hugged each other, and then they remained at peace with each other, but leaving each other. So those were the messages from my meditation. Today is December 27, 2019. The 27 is the Ace of Wands, which was very interesting. It was the only ace that was upright in the read today. And the day is 51 of the King of Swords, which is a 6. And 51, very interesting. I found two cards on the floor today. One from my mini deck, and the other one that must have fell down after I put the cards back on top. And it was the King of Swords, which is the 51. And so very interesting that they coincided with the energies of the day today. And I'll tell you about the other card that fell on the floor in a little bit. So the 27 is the Ace of Wands, but it's also a 9, which is endings, compassion, selflessness, the collective consciousness. And then the 51, being the King of Swords, is also that 6 of love, family, and community. Of course, the lover's energy as well. So a new passion for the King of Swords. And I found the King of Swords upright on the floor. So he was upright in his truth, and there's new passion here. Again, it was the only ace that was upright in the clarification cards today. So I woke up, was interesting because my power went out the other day. I still haven't fixed my clock in my bedroom because I don't use the clock very much. But when I woke up, it was actually 8:18, but my clock said 9:39. And 8:18 is the strength and the moon, and then 9:39 is the hermit and the Knight of Cups. So I cut the SIRIAN Starseed deck, which is the main deck for the read, at 9:25, which is the Hermit and the Knight of Wands. And you see the Knight of Wands on the tag today. Very much about the masculine energy as well. And that was at 9:22, and that Knight of Wands fell out of the deck when I was shuffling. And there was a lot of grays and blues in the read today. So there's a little bit of depression with the masculine right now. But coming out of his false self, you know, that full transformation into his true self, which is why the King of Swords is upright today and confirming it being the energy of the day today. The read was done at 9:49, which is the Hermit and the Nine of Cups, which is the Get Your Wish card, which is the other card that fell on the floor. That one I found at the end of the read, but it was reversed. So it's that energy of feeling like you didn't get your wish, or you're unhappy, dissatisfied, or you're just not happy alone. So the major arcana for the SIRIAN Starseed deck were the Chariot, Higher Self, which is like the High Priestess, the Hanging Man, which is like the Hangman, and the Tower. And by the way, the Tower was the last card in the read today, the official part of the read, and it was upright, full power today. Before the read, I pull cards on either side of the read. Also, Reason came up, which is the Emperor. We had 3 swords, 3 cups, and 1 wand. So a lot of swords and cups today. That was the main focus here. A little bit of action, but no pentacles. So no work or practical related things were coming up for the masculine at the time I did this morning. A lot of swords, which very much in their head and very much in their heart. So cups and swords. The Page of Swords came up, and the Knight of Cups came up here. So there could be kid stuff they're doing today, or it has to do with messages and delivering messages. But after the read, the Page of Pentacles also came up, so there could be 2 to 3 kids involved here, or 1 to 3 kids, just depending on the other cards, could be messages. And then the numbers here were 3, 4, 5, that sequence, 89, but we also had double 4s, double 5s, and double 8s today. So the 44 of the 4 of Cups, the Mastering, Grounding, and Integrating, the 55 of Excalibur, the Ace of Swords, and the Truth, and then we have the 88, which is the masculine and feminine, both in their balanced masculine and feminine and doing the dance, each next to each other, which when you take the 2 8s and turn it on its side, it becomes the infinity. And then 9, 10, Begin Again also came up. We also had on the code line just the number 9. So again, that's that compassion, endings, selflessness, the collective consciousness, and it was all about time out and love relationships. The other numbers here were 3, 31, 39, which is that Knight of Cups, 3, which is the Empress, 9, the Hermit, and in a lesser sense, 34, the 8 of Wands, 45, the 5 of Cups, 56, the 2 of Swords, 58, the 4 of Swords, 68, the Page of Pentacles, and then that 9, 10, Begin Again. So the message here definitely went somewhere today. We had about time out in the love relationship. That was the code line. The messages regarding the 9 of Flames, which is the Wounded Warrior, the challenge for today. I got a lot of different interpretations here, so I'm going to tell you them all, because take what fits for you, and if it resonates, great, and if it doesn't, let it go. Again, it is a general read for everything here. There's a lot of people, and it may or may not resonate with you, so don't force it to fit. And it was very important for some reason in today's read, because of what comes up, that the Emperor and the Empress aren't necessarily a couple. They could be, you know, partners in business, like 2 bosses, or they could be brother and sister was coming up as very important. Also, that incestuous relationships may be coming up today, as well as just you know, that could be even a stepsister or brother, or just within family relations, like small sect religions and communities who tend to, you know, marry within their own sect. So there's a closer DNA relationship there, cousins and things like that. So, all right, regarding time out in the love relationship, fidelity rises as the temperature rises higher to the nth degree in aiding the wounded warrior, the Nine of Flames, and I was getting the Hacker of Christ, or the He Tower. Okay. And then I was getting Barney Fife came up, and then it came up as Barney's because New York had come up for me. So somebody might be shopping too much, because then Filth came up, and then Fifth Avenue. So regarding that kind of superficial shopping as filth, when it gets to that extreme, and it's not judging anyone, it's just what was coming up in the code line here. Take it as it comes to you. So Barney Fife, and then Barney's, and then Fifth Avenue, and filth, and the high urgent aid needed for the wounded warrior who's coming up here as the hacker of the E Tower, or the wounded, the Nine of Flames can also translate as wisdom of desire and drama, and definitely here was coming up regarding this He Tower was Jacob's ladder, which I watched last night. But the ladder was literally in this H, because in this deck sometimes the H looks like a ladder. So the DNA is definitely coming up here. So also the 50th. So 50th, lots of 50th different things can come up for you today, whether it's an anniversary or a birthday, or anything that has to do with 50. I was getting the 50th floor, like in a building, the hire, and that could be hiring someone over 50. Someone might be worried they can't get hired because they're over 50. But getting higher after death, the Jesus energy with the divine feminine on board, or in other words, the chakra system, and Neo was coming up. The temperature of the fire, the desire, and the flame, and the shaker of Christ literally climbing up to Rapunzel in the E Tower, right? Because in the SIRIAN Starseed deck, I always tell you that the 7 is the E Tower, which is Rapunzel in the tower, the divine feminine, and then the 4 of crystals, yes, is the Bat Cave, or the divine masculine's heart. So it was definitely coming up as the masculine climbing Rapunzel's E Tower today. So then after the 50 and higher after death, so again this relates to Rapunzel and these other things and the Bat Cave, but also it's always about the Jesus Mary Magdalene template here. So when I say after death, it automatically represents Jesus on the cross with Mary Magdalene in the 5D self, his higher self, on board with him, using the feminine energy to help him get through what he had to get through, because also the feminine energy has a higher boiling point, so to allow him to tolerate the pain better, because that's why we birth babies, our pain tolerance is higher than a male's. So being the fire shaker, so then Christ could then climb to save Rapunzel. Also a knee, the knee, and also that could be like pain in joints coming up for you guys right now. To knee off, lame Sophia, the Shah and the Shaker. And for some reason I was getting Superman with the tall buildings here, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. So I looked it up real quick, and what was coming up is if Superman can fly 10,000 feet, so it was like it's bedtimemath.org. If Superman can fly 10,000 feet higher than that, how high does he fly? So commercial planes fly up to 45,000 feet at most. Superman arrived around 1938, faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. And then, they were giving kids ways of understanding math better. So trains have to do with horsepower. And we relate to the masculine and the horse all the time, the centaur. So The trains and horsepower, well, horsepower equals one horsepower can move about 30, they said a whopping 33,000 pounds per 1 foot in 1 minute. A train can have 8,000 horsepower. Bullets fly greater than 1,000 miles per hour, and a building can be more than 1,000 feet tall. It's a bird, it's a plane, it's Superman. The bar-headed goose, all right, so this can reference to someone who is all about being at the bar or happy hour. The bar-headed goose is highest flying bird at 21,000 feet. So he flies between the 21,000 feet and 55,000 feet. And then the New York Freedom Tower came up as being 1776, in honor of 1776, right? The birth of our nation. And do you realize what half of 1776 is? It's 888. So if he flies half that height in 1 second, and then half as far in the second, and half of that in the third second, how high has he flown in 3 seconds? So it's bringing up the triple eights, because that's half of 1776. And then half of that, of course, is 444, and then again was 222, which is, I brought that up in one of the meditations I've been using lately with the Hertz. It's 1112224448888. So there's a big significance here. Also, the SR-71 Blackbird was coming up, which is I guess it's a really cool plane. This was from August 4th, 2016, so that date might be important in your journal. You might want to look back at that. And Blackbird singing in the dead of night, take this broken wings and learn to fly all my life. I've been waiting for this moment to arrive. So 71 is the Three of Pentacles, and that's co-creation. And the R was coming up, SR. I'm getting a major connection right now. So S for me is Sophia, and R came up in the coding as well as the root chakra system, also Ra, and the root red, right, the safety and security issues. And then I was getting, with Clark Kent, I was getting Clark in, shoot, what is it? The movie, you know, with, I'm just blanking out now. The Christmas movie with Clark. That was coming up, and then Clark Kent State was coming up. And then just some other headers that were coming up. 9.com came up, again, the number 9. Low energy mixers were coming up, so low energy there. What's causing the low energy? What's mixing into your energy to cause it to be low? Then Georgetown, Williamson County Sun Archives came up, which is actually a Texas paper. And that was 1877 to 1977. So here's 18 and 19, and then 77 is the sovereign energy, and the moon and the sun. Actually, it's 2 sovereigns, because we have 1877 and 1977. It's the moon sovereign and the sun sovereign, the masculine and the feminine. Then there was another site that came up. I don't know, the letters were weird. Like, most of them were capitalized, and then some would be small, so I'm not sure if that was done on purpose, or it was hard to understand what it said. It was Rext the for all its W-O small m capital H, but then it was dash, the site was Sabda, which reminded me of Sabo, which is what the kids called my dad. So that was sabda.org. And underneath that header was prophecy, and also K, which is energy. The prophecy about energy. Another header was 9GAG, G-A-G. And some other ones, just real quickly, were fantastic fiction came up. The font, D-A, font, so the font, you may be dealing with font right now. Mick Master, right, so, and here we are mastering all this stuff, Mick Masters, and that had to do with a car. And then the Pirate Bay, so pirating could be coming up as well. And we always talk that about the ships and the Viking ships that are coming in or out in the cards as well. So, was there anything else I missed on this page? I think that was it. All right. So I went back to the code line again. The boiling point of the divine feminine, or the chakra system, is much higher than the divine masculine to aid the wounded warrior, possibly with a headache with energy. And it was relating to the red root chakra, the Ra, and the root chakra. That the negative energy of Christ became... The negative energy of Christ was because he was avoiding climbing the E tower to get Rapunzel, right? So avoiding was causing him his headache, his negative energy. And then I was getting fee, fi, fo, fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman. So that's also giants, right? And giants came up the other day. The divine feminine temperature, the fidelity of the fourth quarter was coming up here. The high E raid. So the raiding of the E tower, the divine feminine or Rapunzel in the E tower. And the wounded warrior, the 9 of flame. The one flame, right? The 9 of the hermit of the one flame. And the Shah energy. Rough call to rise to Jacob's ladder, the He tower, and climb the ladder or the DNA to the E tower, right? To find his higher, he's literally climbing to his higher self by going to Rapunzel in the E tower. But Jacob's ladder had to do with drug addiction after war, you know, PTSD and all that kind of stuff, which I bring up a lot. So this was very important here. Also, fidelity of the 10 of Cups and the 4 of Wands, which has to do with the family and the home. The loyalty to the family and the home is higher after death of the E9 of the torch or the flame. So again, the divine feminine's compassion, the divine feminine hermit, the divine feminine collective consciousness. And then CRE acronym came up, which is the bacteria that's resistant to most antibiotics. CRE, that's the dangerous one. It's a tyrosine recombinase enzyme. Another acronym meaning for that, or a couple more, were cosmic ray exposure, which was very significant coming up. Of course, the language Cree, which is CREE and CRI. Coral reef exhibit was notable to me, and as well as commercial real estate. And then CRHE, Council Council of Renewal of Higher Education in Sweden, and then also the Center for Research of Higher Education in Portugal. So, and Portugal came up the other day, so Portugal is significant, and also higher education here. And it was also homeschooling, the Coalition for Responsible Home Education, and the Welsh Railway Society was also coming up around that. So going back to the coding, I was getting the 5th higher aid, the 9 or the hermit of desire or drama, the Shah, the shaker or the hacker or the headache due to the negative energy, and the Christ, the He tower, going to the E tower and taking that time out for the love relationship. So the 5th, hey, I was getting, with the 4th quarter coming up, as we talk about 4s all the time, dropping the 3rd baton to finish the race, the 4th quarter. So the 4th quarter is really big here. Like in the football game, it's the last quarter of the game. But here we were going to the 5th higher. So it's actually higher than the 4th quarter. We're past that already, going into the etheric realms, going into the 5D. The 5th higher aid, and then the name Aiden was coming up, which happens to be my nephew's middle name, but Aiden is coming up, of the 9 or hermit of desire and drama, the she, shaker, hacker, or headache due to energy issues, the energy of people around you. Don't forget, learn how to distinguish your energy from someone else who's just come into your room and all of a sudden you feel bad. So why do you feel bad? It's not you. It's the person who just walked into the room and you are an empath, so you're picking up their energy. But it's all about the masculine taking down his He tower, right? Jacob's ladder, any kind of addictions that he needs to be pulled down to the ground, right? To rebuild because it was a weak foundation. Pulling that tower down, that tower coming crashing down, right? The walls of Jericho. And then climbing up the tower of Rapunzel to rescue her to his higher self, his DNA, for time out in a love relationship. Then the island Crete came up of Greece, which then after I'm talking about the 5th higher, Crete comes up, which is Greece's 5th largest in the Mediterranean Sea, And the rank of Crete Island is none other than 88. And it's actually the largest Greek isle, but it's the 5th largest in the Mediterranean. The center of Europe's first advanced civilization. The Minoans, 2700 to 1420 BC, overran by, I'm probably going to say all of these names wrong, but that's okay, Mycenaean civilization from mainland Greece, and then later Crete fell under the Roman rule, Byzantine Empire, Andalusian Arabs, Venetian Republic, and the Ottoman Empire ruled Crete successfully. So back to the code again. The 5th, or the 5D, the higher after death, right? After Jesus is hung on the cross and Mary Magdalene's in the 5D helping him, his higher self. After death, the Mary Magdalene energy of the wounded warrior, the shaker, hacker, the candlestick maker. I'm getting that saying now, right? The shaker, the baker, the candlestick maker. I'm getting the candlestick maker, and I was just dealing with my candles. So someone who deals with wax, perhaps, wax figures, but then the Shah canine came up, and Shah is a term of endearment. So it's not supposed to be a negative connotation there about the dog, but it's referencing Mary Magdalene as the canine, because in the Fool card, the dog is the Fool's loyal friend. Like, they're always at their heels and they would follow them anywhere. So it's coming up as the 5th higher, the 5D, after death of Jesus, and the E energy, the feminine energy of the wounded warrior, the Mary Magdalene, the shaker, the hacker, the Shah canine of Christ's ladder, DNA, his best friend, terms of endearment and loyalty. He would climb the highest towers to get to her, just like Superman, right? And this is now time out for the love relationship between them. His own DNA, himself, his higher self, must climb to Rapunzel to get there. And then I was getting Madonna's I Want to Take You There, just like a prayer, just like a dream. It is not what it seems, okay? So then not only the 5th and the 5D come up, and the 5th quarter, which is not a quarter, obviously, the 5th octave came up, and then Octavia Minor came up, which is the younger of the Octavias, who's the elder sister of Augustus, in the who's the first Roman emperor. So Caesar was his father, but Augustus was actually the first emperor, also known as Octavian. So they were sisters. So Octavia is the Octavia is the sister of Octavian, and half-sister of Octavia, the elder one, and 4th wife of Marc Antony. So Octavia Minor was here 69 BC to 11 BC, so she wasn't quite here at Christ. And these were all from Wiki and Britannica online. Anthony and Octavian, or Augustus, quarreled in 37 BC. And she, Octavia, was actually the one who brought peace between them, which is like the two men I was seeing making peace with each other. So that was important about the masculine and his relationship with another man. And it could be a father too, because, you know, Caesar died. He was assassinated. But it allowed his son then to become the first emperor. In 36, then Anthony went to be with Cleopatra, and then Anthony and Octavia ended up together in 32 after she divorced. She ended up raising Cleopatra's kids and her kids as well. That was Octavia. So very interesting. So it's coming up like Octavian is Augustus Caesar, and Octavia are brother and sister. And she ends up raising Marc Antony's children and their kids together. And it's very much about these two, the brother and sister in power, like I said at the beginning of this read. In 23, the son Marcellus died, which was her first husband, had that name. And then after that son died, she withdrew from public life. It was too much for her, I guess. So the reason why this stuff comes up is because then it comes up again and somehow in the read, but it's also, you know, you'll take it as it comes to you. So Julius Caesar was the father, the Roman dictator, and he was assassinated, stabbed in the theater of Pompeii in the Ides of March 15th, 44 BC. And again, here we have 3 of the Empress, 15 of the Devil, and then 44 of the matron grounding and integrating of things, of love. Now, Octavia helped make peace between Mark Antony and Augustus, and that was the Treaty of Tarentum, Tarentum. And it's funny because Ma always comes up in my coding, and that's Mark Antony as well. So Octavius equals Augustus Caesar, and that was at 1133, the first Roman emperor. He was born 923-63 BC and through 14 AD. He defeated Mark Antony. That was in 31 when he went to be with Cleopatra. So that's it as far as the history stuff that needed to come up. But there's a relationship to this because of the emperor status and the emperor in the read. So pay attention. We have the 5 of Swords here and the underlying energy, which is upright. It's all about war. The war within always starts the war without. We have the 5 of Cups down here, then the 6 of Wands here, and then the 4 of Wands, and then the Reason card below this war, which is the Emperor. Okay? So we have the Emperor here at war. After greed and good news and success and attention of the leader's downfall, or Caesar, right? So his father Caesar's downfall of their house, and then the rise of the emperor, Augustus and Octavian, which is the same person. The fall of Mark Antony and Cleopatra. And then it went to Mark Antony and Octavia Minor, the sister of the emperor, Augustus. So free from the King of Wands reversed, starting over in love, Octavian and sister Octavia Minor, working to align while holding back feelings, energy exchange in imbalanced relationship, a debt or scam, inequity, not fair. After the Knight of Wands reversed fell, grieving sudden events, epiphanies of lies, split, and cutting through the BS, Excalibur, which comes up in the time period of 1215 to around 1250 CE, or the Common Era, after death. Lies, split, and all of that stuff around Excalibur, pulled from the stone, and the divine, it's, as I said before, the stone's coming up as the divine feminine frozen in time with Excalibur in her heart. The Queen of Pentacles was upright here, coming together with her past. The Empress reversed in prison or a facility, or in a physical or mental prison, whether that's without or within. Looking back or living in the past, the Empress reversed imprisons herself. So, right, so when your brother is the Emperor, that's obviously going to affect his sister in some way, who's never had that power, but has that status of being the sister of the emperor. So attaching from her heart, or detaching from her heart, the Empress reversed, the firefighter's hat, fighting desire as opposed to going with it. A ticking time bomb set to go off. All right, so she has to live up to a certain status, a certain standard of the emperor because he is the emperor. She can't just be herself, okay? Sent inside forever, never seeing no one nice again, like you. So then again, when her son died, who wasn't Mark Antony's son, it was before that, her first husband. So after he passed away, it truly affected her because that was probably a time period in her life where she could really be herself, as opposed to then when her brother was in charge. So then some numbers came up in the configuration there, and there are 3 threes involved. Double threes of the 33 of the Christ vibration, but also there was the Empress there with the Roman numeral 3. So it was 8, 3, 3, 3, and 1, 4, 5. And the three threes reference the 3D, 4D, and 5D, the 3, 6, 9, and the 8, of course, the dance within, the infinity, and the 14 and 5. is the temperance card, patience, angels, and then 5 having to do with the expansion, fighting, competing, on a quest, and the war within. The Knight of Pentacles reversed, impatient or fallen angel, exposed all and became his own magician, manifesting DNA, or in other words, discovery. By allowing the fall, the stillness, a new day dawns with total illumination. Light or white magicians versus dark or black magicians of Atlantis, overcoming the fallen angels with pure light, angelic DNA, childlike energy, stepping into water, emotions, one step at a time, as not to rush in, like fools rush in. You need time to acclimate to the environment and the temperature. Okay, like sitting back to back to let your energies meld with each other. Chemistry comes up as the underlying energy, and below that was unrequited love. So after unrequited love, then comes chemistry. The fool with the open heart is free to leap with the Knight of Cups and an offer of love. The dark priestess tempts the masculine with pretend keys and natural remedies. The Page of Pentacles must look at all sides of the coin, that it's not an opportunity to just hurt each other again or cause another person pain or yourself. Thinking the worst of someone when you don't know is hurting yourself. Finding the words or the right way to express your feelings and move up then from Page to Knight of Cups at 1233, which is the Hangman and the Christ vibration. It's also the 7 of Wands, standing up for yourself without needing to fight. So the underlying energy signs that were coming up here were Aries upright, Scorpio both upright and reversed, Aquarius upright and reversed, Taurus reversed, Virgo upright, Gemini upright, Sagittarius reversed, Leo upright, Pisces upright, and Cancer reversed. If I say upright and reversed, it just means there's 2 different energies here. One is more positive and one's more negative, or they're both coming up in the same person. So now that with the masculine getting into the Knight of Cups energy as opposed to the Page of Cups reversed, like leaving the Page, going and moving up, moving up to the big time, to the Knight of Cups, to offer you love, even if he's not perfect yet, because he's still the Knight, right? That's not the Queen or the King. Burning your pinky or looking for keys outside yourself, knowing when what makes another feel good doesn't resonate with you, and that's okay. None of us are perfect, and yet perfect just as we are. The secrets out can be an opportunity to start over, a fresh start, without jealousy or rejection, learning how to express your feelings, or not wanting animals in the house. And that can reference Animal House again as well. Manifestation comes up as the underlying energy for the masculine, and beneath that was new beginnings. So after the new beginnings, the masculine is now in his magician embodiment manifesting, not expressing feelings about moving out or ending a marriage or going to stay at another's house, but still clinging to lies, a split, cutting through the BS, avoiding full transformation by not telling the whole truth. In fear of judgment, yet it comes anyway. The final decision, the announcement, the call to action. Does a fly on a plane increase its weight or load if it's flying? If a fly is on a flying plane, does it increase the weight or load? The Winged Emerald Order is now transmitting codes to the Blu-rays that it's time to pull Excalibur from the stone, out of your divine feminine, and allow the heartbreak and separation from the lies. Pull out your 3 swords one at a time and write them down. Hear the call of the gold. 24 karat is too soft. You may want to try 22 or 18 for a more long-lasting value. A little bacteria never hurts. It helps build the immune system. It strengthens it. Strength equals happiness when it comes to the human body. Content, balanced, regulated, sharing properly. As each sword comes out, write, speak, or sing. Draw, paint, or stain about it. Alchemize the negative energy into positive beauty, just to the left of center. More new than old, more light than dark. The human body errs to the side of alkaline, neutral, base, or basic. Separation and war and prison are all just fear waiting to happen. Anxiety, stress, and suffering in silence to take that illumination and transform it into magic. Chemistry with DNA and tools of the trade, a creative way to express your feelings in a way that others can truly appreciate and learn to manifest themselves. In the recent past is the Chariot upright. And the urban definition of Cha, C-H-A, is, that guy who's very self-centered, who wants to try to be cool, so he lifts a lot of weights, but he looks like an idiot because everyone knows he's trying to do it, so he's not really cool. So that's the urban definition of Cha. So Chariot is that Cha and riot. That he's a riot, right? When you see the Cha acting like an idiot. The Chariot. The bold move or travel, driving when stressed out, offering a new life, or yourself a treat and give a dog a bone. Standing up for self, losing hope, and finding a way to express his heart and not feel rejected. Twins or kids, and the King of Swords. And the King of Swords carrying the weight of the world physically for both of them in the awakening. The foundation here is the Three of Orbs, or the Three of Swords. The Three of Swords definitely came up. There's a lot of sword, Five of Swords, Three of Swords energy here in the underlying energy. But that Three of Swords energy in separation was coming up here to journey on, to face one who's on guard, or the enemy, unwavering in truth. And that was at 101. Two magicians facing each other, coming from opposite perspectives. Issues at work, third-party love or interference there, or leaving, weak in ego death, or dealing with a Leo or ego who's out of control, getting attention, and Capricorn detoxing, so they may be a bit sensitive. The central energy here is the Four of Cups reversed, starting over in love. At night, an eclipse, feeling abandoned, left out, injured and cold. Lovers, King of Cups reversed, maybe sad or detached emotionally, or he's just representing conditions of love. In a downturn, a twist of fate, bad luck, negative self-talk, gossips, lies, kids with big mouths. The challenge being the wounded warrior reversed. Surrendering to powerlessness and instability. And the signs that were coming up in this section were Leo reversed, Capricorn reversed, Gemini upright, Cancer upright, Libra reversed, Pisces reversed, Scorpio upright, and Sagittarius reversed. Unable to sleep and rising above, or had enough rest now and it's time to come out. To financially draining and or energetically draining kids, or coming out about loss of power, money, and independence. Powerlessness, and implementing a new plan with what's left after sudden separation, heartbreak, or medical procedure, or possible heart attack or stress, and it just felt like a heart attack. Clear on your mission to turn the world around and complete the cycle, the sealed divine feminine. Dysfunctional family and or business, or large financial loss or drain, or end of dream family and or business, in debt, scammed, or inequitable relations. Unstable, moving, alcohol, depression, and or someone needs an attitude adjustment, or kids or teens with alcohol and depression, moody with attitude all the time. Sagittarius and Pisces. At night, an eclipse, moodiness, unhappy and not expressing feelings or sharing energy with others. Now crowning for the masculine is the Page of Swords reversed. Negative talk, gossip, spying, kids, or bad news. Someone who's unhappy or just ended a family or emotional cycle, with the Queen of Wands, Knight of Cups, Queen of Swords, and the Emperor. The Emperor's world is complete, or the cycle is complete. Hanging out or possibly skiing with the King of Pentacles in separation. Divorce or Hierophant reversed. A break in contract, religion, establishment, or a Taurus reversed, without a peaceful place to be and looking back or living in the past. It's no surprise, after all the suffering and stress, the Queen of Pentacles comes together with friends to deal with difficult emotions, or having friends over to implement a plan. Impatient to move and kids are antsy, energy vampires hogging and or stashing away money under the table, or the partner's just unaware, burning the past for new passion, and protecting self from show-off, or partner walking around naked or hugging you to manipulate you into having sex. The Eight of Cups, uncomfortable feelings, with player in the house, or falling short on energy, holding back passions from the Queen of Cups in surrender. Suddenly kicked out, exploding epiphany about a separation. The Hermit is upright, sharing their light with Libra or Justice, or in a divorce or legal situation. And that was at 136, which is the Magician and the 10 of Wands, that heavy burden. It's like Atlas energy, the weight of the world upon your shoulders. Can be confession as well. So the Hermit is shedding light on the surrender while studying gold coin and synchronicities opportunities, receiving and passing on downloads. He's seeing himself as the higher self, which is his divine feminine. The King of Pentacles reversed, letting go of status and wealth. Justice, divorce, and or Libra tripped up with the High Priestess or higher self, or their secret or psychic abilities. Maybe they dropped the ball. They dropped their facade, breaking patterns of no dance between the two of them. His higher self, the High Priestess, secret or intuition, and lower energy given to the need for justice. So it's like the juggler reversed, or the jugular wanted to come up too. Somebody might have gotten them in the jugular. Him seeing himself as the higher self, juggling here between him and his higher self, right? He's seeing like the higher energy going towards his higher self, and now seeing that the lower energy that he's juggling is his need for justice, right? And in order to stay in balance, he needs to let go of that need for justice. Very soon, because there's too much extreme right now, very soon, let friends help. It's safe to love Divine Masculine and getting to know each other. Around him, or how he's seen, is the Knight of Cups with the offer of love, the Page of Wands inspired, to the Ace of Wands, hired, or inspired by sex on a stick, new passion and growth, the Prisoner driving, or anxiety about a bold move to call, or the call to action, the final judgment, announcement, the cattle call, calling all agents back into home base for a meet and greet, unhappy alone, lighting a fire to see if he'll run away this time. The masculine needs to clear his blocks of the Hanging Man, awake, without anger issues or knee or joint pain, ending the Four of Wands reversed and 10 of Pentacles reversed, home and family. The realization of distorted values and instability, superficiality of the home and family, the shiny object syndrome, or too many options or activities, when you should focus on one at a time in order to expand with light and patience. That surrendering is not failing, but surrendering is freedom. Love partnership came up, time out, and even more so for the masculine today is adventure. Overwhelm, a need to cry or purge, the King of Pentacles reversed, and his losses. The Tower is that final card here, fully upright in a sudden event, explosion, eruption, epiphany. Lightning strikes as the storm has arrived, and take time to take cover in the Batcave. Superman is reverting to hang out with an old friend in the cave with crystals, to grieve loss and regret of twins and or kids, and holding your tongue, holding back an announcement, or feeling ashamed for verbal abuse or neglect. Libra and Virgo came up right here, or thinking of being with twin alone in the Batcave, a sudden opportunity or an invitation, clinging to near-death experience or no options, purging, overwhelmed and disconnect, unable to see eye to eye, or sudden bad news with the need to start anew, and the Eight of Wands reversed, holding back feelings and energy exchange in the end of an emotional cycle, a split, done, fini, complete, with the Empress reversed, ending family or emotional cycle, the end of an era, or Empress reversed passes, in great pain or miscarries, or the person you're split from is a pain in the butt. Then we have the higher self and higher love at 2 o'clock. So this is the High Priestess and a lot of source energy embodied to support it. Heartbreak in the higher self, the higher love, and the Knight of Cups, being love. At 2:01, the High Priestess and the Magician. The offer of love, someone to have coffee with, perhaps an infinity pool. The Chariot, bold move or travel to new love and challenged by surrender, to the uncomfortable feelings and the awakening to ideas, negative news or message, spying, immature or mean words, or a child with a potty mouth, or freaking out suddenly. Sudden bad news, the Page of Swords reversed, Tower, while the Divine Masculine is in his cave. The Page of Pentacles may be studying their abilities or playing with their psychic abilities, and maybe this is the child of the masculine they didn't know who was doing this. It's like this Page of Pentacles is either a child or that's representing the masculine learning his abilities, but not telling the family about it. Or all of a sudden a child or the masculine comes out, they didn't tell the family something, and then this news comes out where they had actually predicted an event that came in. Lies split, cutting through the BS, pulling Excalibur from the stone, one at a time. The Empress reversed in lack, with medical issues or past, or the Wicked Witch is dead, or an earthquake, volcanic eruption, or tidal waves are here, with Mother Nature acting up or freaking out. The war within, after grieving openly, leaving home or moving, instability of the Emperor, when at war within, it is without, chariots of fire, rush into battle when heart is broken or separated from loved ones. As the wound gets deeper, starting over in love, with negative talk, news, gossip, spying, vigilance, on guard, upping the ante, challenged by surrender. The higher self or twin, in uncomfortable feelings, working through that to come out the other end with epiphanies. The Knight of Cups, giver of love, awakens suddenly to psychic abilities in the Batcave, excited to research more without telling their family, either unhappy about it, the family, or ending, the family's ending, so it doesn't really matter whether he tells them or not anyway. The Emperor and the Empress ending a cycle. This could be the Divine Masculine and partner. It could be either one of their parents or Divine Masculine and sister, aunt or grandmother, or work partners who are not in a physical relationship together. So there's definitely, the Empress is reversed, the Emperor's upright here. So that was the read. I'm going to pull you some oracle cards as well. It's 5211, which is the Queen of Swords and Justice. So there's justice for the Queen of Swords, as the King of Swords is now in his truth and not worrying about injustice anymore. So I'm going to pull you an animal card first, the animal oracles. These are actually called animal tarot cards. Now every time I see Mom, I'm going to think of Marc Anthony. But remember that he fought Marc Anthony and Cleopatra. Augustus, the emperor. So that could be the one, that his sister helped him make peace with. So that could be like the two men who were rivals, who make peace and spirits connecting with me. So he could be making peace with his rival or his brother, his partner, his father, and walking away. Just because you make peace doesn't mean then you want to hang out together, okay? All right, so for everyone watching, today is December 27, 2019. For everyone watching, the best and highest good of all is concerned. What do we need to know? What do we need to learn? Take a deep breath, you guys. Clearing all the negative energies and filling with beautiful divine love and diamond light across all dimensions of time, space, matter, and realities for the highest good of all is concerned, and so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This card definitely flipped out. It's the 15 of the devil energy, which can just be Capricorn energy as well. We have the Siamese cat, and it says you may feel you're trapped in your situation, but that's not true. Be careful not to overly focus upon material wealth and break free of negative thinking, which all came up in the read, so that's perfect. Okay, so superficiality, negative thinking, and lack consciousness that you think you're trapped and there's no way out. The prisoner. And that all came up in the read, so confirming that. This one also wanted to be seen, the Four of Spring, which is the otter. And they're very cute together. It's time to kick back, relax, and celebrate all that you have. So gratitude. Joy arises from success in your career, the completion of a project, or a very happy home life. And just relaxing and hanging out together. Okay, that definitely could be that little vacation. It's time out for love partnership. The bottom of the deck is the parrot. And birds definitely came up here. And parrots repeat what you say. So now I'm thinking about this because the birds look like they wanted to pick my eyes out. But not in a mean way. They're just there showing me, don't use your eyes. The 8 of autumn. The 8 of the fall, right? So it's the dance of the twin within their own masculine and feminine in the fall. The parrot is the perfect time to learn all you can by returning to school, taking a seminar, or conducting research. Do your best work, and the law of attraction will bring you prosperity and career advancement. So again, the parrot repeats everything the human says. And he's reading a book in this card. Okay. But a parrot can't read. So he's just pretending like he reads like a human would do, except he doesn't need to read because he just repeats you. So remember that with a parrot, because you're connected to your twin. So a lot of what you learn is shared etherically between you. So make sure you keep it of the highest vibration. But also, the high vibration has to do with using your third eye as opposed to your eyeballs. Stop using your 3D vision and use more your 5D vision between you and also for the information that you seek. It's saying go back to school, take a seminar, go on a retreat. Learn something you're interested in that's going to be really fun for you. You know, when you're happy, that's when the human body is the happiest. And that's when you'll pull in what makes you happy. All right, now we have the, this is the Metatron deck. Take a deep breath. All right, I'm going to ask Metatron here since it's Metatron deck. Okay, Archangel Metatron. Some Archangel Metatron Self-Mastery Oracle. All right, so for everyone watching, the best and highest good of those concerned, what do we all need to know? What do we need to learn? Metatron, please. Metatron. What do we need to know? What do we need to learn, Metatron? More patience and balance. Duality, balance needed. So again, when you go to extremes, it's going to be harder to come back to the middle. That's when we tend to fall. If you stay more balanced all the time without letting yourself go into those extremes, then you never go through as much pain because you always stay closer to the middle, right? In that small vibration, 1 0 1 0. Instead of going 1 5 1 5, stay in the middle. Balance needed is 23, which is the King of Wands, the man of passion. We also have this card wanting to come out, which is Conquering Fear and Start Today. So fear is anxiety, frustration, anything like that. Stress, anything that's not love is fear. When you get confused and you're feeling weird today, just remember it's love or fear. And if you can't figure out where you are right now, then just let it be. Mother Mary comes to me, let it be. And then meditate or take a walk, take a nap, forget about it, reset. So conquering fear, start today. If you don't know how to do it right away, then like I said, just do one of those activities to get you out of feeling the way you feel if you're very uncomfortable in your body at the moment because of fear. Take a nap, meditate, take a walk, exercise, do something artistic that, takes you into a zone that this once you get into it, hours fly by because you enjoy it so much. The bottom of the deck of this one is red. All right, so red, the red root stuff came up with Ra as well. 55, Excalibur, the Ace of Swords, safety, strength, and power. So it's important to, and we have the teepees and the Indians here, so it's very important to get back to basics, to your ancestors, to your, to your safety and security, to make sure the foundation is strong before building upon it. Make sure it's strong, that you have balance of your yin and yang, the dance within of your masculine and feminine, and start today as far as conquering your fears by allowing and going with the flow. All right. Next deck is Nature Whispers. This is Nature Whispers. And it was just 10010. And it was a perfect reflection. 010010. That was pretty good. So 2 magicians again. It came up twice. 2 magicians. What God brings together, let no man put asunder. Remember, for those of you who don't believe in God, it doesn't matter. You can still be on the ascension journey. It can be called just love, source energy, however you see it, prime creator. It's all the same energy. We're all in the same energy. All right. So, what is our advice from here? Get some very beautiful cards in here. Another deep breath. Open up those chakras. Intend your chakras to open up. And I see the flame is like flickering as I shuffle along with my beat. Okay, so the bottom, I'm just looking at the flame. The underlying energy here is breakthrough, number 8. So again, with the 8 and the dancing within, your masculine and feminine, just yourself, rebalancing and doing the dance again. So centering your masculine and feminine is one thing, but the dance is something else. That's the movement back and forth between the masculine and feminine, doing the dance, a balance. Not just staying in one or the other, but learning the constant back and forth between them. The breakthrough. And this is a really pretty card. Look at all the butterflies. Okay, so number 8, which is power and strength, courage. And also, Lionsgate came up because of the 8/8s. I almost forgot this message. I was getting that for those masculines who didn't make the graduation cutoff at Lionsgate, and I did wake up. There was a download I got being told that I graduated back in August, and I know that other people told me they'd gotten something similar as well. I was getting guided that for the masculines who didn't make the grade in August for the fall graduation, they are now having a second chance. Like, I think it's between the eclipses, like between the eclipse we just had and the next eclipse, which is the beginning of January. I just can't remember the exact date. It's like they still have time to get eclipsed back in. But either way, it doesn't matter. It's all according to your divine timing. 3 cards came out here. We have 30 of Adventure, which is the 4 of Wands. That's that union card, the 1111. Okay. And this always reminds me of algae in the ear. You know, instead of wax in the ear, algae. And then we have candle wax. There's something about the wax, the candle maker. And that could be... what am I thinking of? The second card is Intuition, 36, which is that 10 of Wands. I'm thinking of the Amish. Is there something about that, you know, because of brother and sister stuff that came up, and the candle maker reminded me right away of the Amish. So there's something about the Amish that's coming up. 36, the 10 of Wands, Intuition. That's about carrying the weight of the world, the 36. All the burdens. Hard. It can be just working hard outside as well, or working out. And then the third card is Empowerment at 45, which is that 5 of Cups. Letting go of the third baton. It can be grieving, loss and regret, guilt and shame. And learning to let go of that and not hold on to that. Not being guilt, because that's fear. Empowering yourself. And this is very feminine, all right? We have a feminine in the shell. And this is like a little birdie in your ear. Okay, so the birdie came up for me. And here's It's like a little fairy mermaid in a conch shell. But it's like algae. So something about algae. What was the other thing that came up for me? Seaweed. Algae and seaweed came up. There's probably, because they're really good minerals and things like that in those two things are coming up. It could be for cleansing the ears. But I'm getting, little birdie told you, so listen, because we're the parrot, right? Because whatever you say, people will repeat. So make sure you know what you're saying. And it's very, very feminine energy. So when the feminine hears something, it's like she's processed. This is so beautiful. It's like she's processing it. See, she's thinking about what she heard. So it's saying take time to ground and integrate and use your intuition before going forth with it, because this is the empowerment, right? She's ready to go. You can see all the turbulence in the energy here. All right? She's about to take off, right? And take action. So it's saying, listen to the words that you say, because people repeat what you say. And when your twin sends a message to you, listen and use your intuition to process it and ground and integrate before you go into action. Oh, this is true too. I got, with the earthquakes and tidal waves and everything. Look at, there's a boat in this picture. I don't know if you can see it there. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So some very turbulent seas, and the storm, we were waiting for the storm to come in. It's like saying now with the tower hitting that the storm has come in. And look again, that's the same with these cards. Look how peaceful the water is here. Whoop. I have to refocus again. Hold on. All right, so the water comes in. It's very peaceful. And then this is the idea. See all the light coming out from her head? As she's using her intuitions, all the downloads coming in here. And then out of that comes all this turbulence, the storm. The calm before the storm, the grounding and integrating, and then the storm. So that's the storm coming in. And then the underlying energy here, that's breakthrough. I wanted you to look at the picture again. Let's actually get the KKK real quick there. It looked like a hooded man. She is keeping her heart wide open, like it's like running, like the chariots of fire. She's running with the butterflies. She's come out of the cocoon and she is flying free, and her wings are like the butterfly wings, are like, look at the colors of her wings. All of the 4D rainbow. So when the storm comes, look at the water underneath. So when the storm hits, you don't have to be a part of it. See? You take yourself away. Calgon, take me away. And that's literally what the message is. It's like, so you don't have to interact with that. You can observe it and be neutral, but then just let it go. Okay, last card for you guys. It's getting later, it's 108. 108. Here's 108.10. High vibration. Do the dance between your masculine and feminine. When you take in new information, allow it to process before necessarily answering or taking action. Take your time. Be patient. Patience and faith. Those are the two big ones. They're very difficult and yet simple, right? All right, last one is the energy deck. For everyone watching, and the best and highest good of all is concerned. What we need to know, what we need to learn. All right, I've got two that came out. The underlying energy is the 6th chakra, Archangel Metatron. Perfect. For the masculines here, Metatron's in charge of the masculine, 6th chakra. Okay, number 40, which is the Page of Cups. That's the Jesus energy. And the two cards that came out for you guys are, for the final cards, the 7th chakra, Archangel Uriel. And that's 41 of the Ace of Cups. That she's got really beautiful angelic gifts that she shares, but she's also the warrior, so don't mess with her too much, okay? The 7th chakra is opening up the crown. The only crown that you need is your 7th chakra crown. Okay, so she's got like a lotus flower on her head. And it's very much pinks and golds of compassion and the Christ consciousness, the unity consciousness and having compassion for others. And then along with the 7th chakra in the crown, we have the thinking woman as opposed to the thinking man. So we have both, which is 47, right? She's the one that makes dreams come true. Isn't it the girl, you know, who always has, they say, has flights of fantasy? She's the one who allows herself to dream. Of course everything is possible, because little girls are taught fairy tales when they're young. The thinking woman, 47. It's calling you to use your crown and your brain in conjunction. So your intuitive knowing and your intelligence. So again, you receive the information, then process it. So if you get it as an intuitive download, then process it intellectually. If you get it intellectually first, then take the time to process it through your intuitive system, and then take action. So either way, it's saying, take your time. You don't have to rush into making decisions. And this is new love, and this is dreams come true. Okay. Along with the 6th chakra of the 3rd eye of Metatron. So very based on the 3rd eye and the crown opening here, and using your intuition major to still use your brain too, to be logical about things and to interpret your downloads, but you have to use them in conjunction, and that's like the masculine and feminine dance. You go back and forth between masculine and feminine, between the intellect and the intuitive, between the 3D and the 5D. Okay, so there's a couple different dances that are going on here, and this is the mastery of all of that. Yeah. And I'm getting, like, from the underlying energy for Metatron, the power is coming from his wings, his angelic wings. And you see the heart, the focus on the 3rd eye, and then all of this light energy coming out from his heart and his wings. So for the masculine to empower himself more with his intuition, and the feminine obviously then needs to empower herself more with her logic and her thinking woman. Okay? So drink your water, get your rest, get your joy, get your nature. Be good to yourself. Be happy and balanced, content. And rise and be love, you guys. Have an amazing night. Bye.